while we're still staying around the oil and gas right here in Nigeria, let's speak with the Publicity Secretary of Crude Oil Refiner Association of Nigeria on some of those happenings. We have seen the queues and a whole lot more. Perhaps from the crude refiners' point of view, we can get a permanent solution. We have joining us virtually from Abuja, where he's part of that meeting that we just talked about. Mr. Eche Idoko joins us from there. Hi, Mr. Idoko. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah,
good afternoon,
tell us more about the conversations you're having at that meeting, because obviously everything connects to the queues that we see at filling stations in major cities of Nigeria at this time.
Oh, okay. So my meeting today, incidentally, it's a stakeholders engagement on community community trust, not exactly the meeting you talked about. But we do have representatives in that particular meeting, and I can tell you that deliberations are ongoing. The scarcity at this time is quite unfortunate. I would say that at this time in the lifetime of a country like Nigeria, we still have to grapple with the realities of fuel scarcity and the long queue. And it speaks to what we have been preaching. We have said eradicate the market for middlemen in the petroleum value chain, and let's become a net producer so that Nigerians can begin to reap the benefits of being a major oil producing country in the world.
Yeah, well, talking about that, we do know that, some representatives, lawmakers went to Kaduna Refinery. We'll bring that story after this conversation. And then they did say that we expect the Kaduna Refinery to begin about 110,000 barrels production by the end of this year, or before the end of this year. We have Dangote has promised that by May, we're getting to May, but at least before the end of May, we should be getting PMS from the Dangote Refinery. We have also expectations from the PHarcort Refinery. Do you see these coming together to change the landscape of energy security in the country, at least before the end of this year, 2024?
Well, putting a timeline to it would be how would I say? I don't want to misrepresent. It's tricky to put a timeline to when we could have self-sufficiency, especially in the production of PMS. But what we can say to this is that what we have seen with what had happened with the gas oil market would speak a lot to what we would expect when the refineries all come upstream. Recently, you have seen the role Dangote had played with the pricing dynamics in fuel oil in the Nigerian market space. We have seen fuel oil reduce, the price in fuel oil reducing significantly. This speaks basically to what would happen if the refineries in Nigeria begin to produce. And it's the same thing we've been speaking about as a body. We have insisted that the only way we can get out of this embarrassment called scarcity, or the embarrassment of access to refined petroleum products, is to empower to ramp up our refining capacity locally. So yes, to answer to your question, we would see a significant drop in pricing and also availability of refined petroleum products as these refineries come on stream. Apart from the Kaduna Refinery, which would and the PHarcort Refinery, there are other private refineries who are built to also start production this year. I know Ezekiel is going to start producing from their condensate refinery sometime this year as well.
All right, but on the other hand, we do have that worrying factor of availability of crude. Already, it's no longer a secret or news that Dangote has to import crude into the country. So even when we have promises of refineries being operational, what do you see about the availability of crude?
Okay, so let me first off, there's nothing wrong with Dangote importing crude. Even the largest producers in the world, like the United States, there are refineries that still import crude. Crude is a function of what's the configuration of your refinery and then the assay for the crude you want to use. Well, having said that, yes, at a point, crude was going to be a worry, but I must commend the NUPRC. Concerted efforts are being made right now. As you may be aware, recently, the draft regulations for domestic crude supply obligations were put in place. We participated fully in that exercise, and I think in a short while from now it will be gazetted. I think that to a very, very large extent has addressed the issue of availability of crude, even though we are yet to see the full implementation of that guideline. But we think that when that guideline comes into full operations, it's going to sufficiently address the question of availability of crude that has hitherto been a major worry to the refiners in Nigeria.
So as the Crude Oil Refiner Association of Nigeria, where is your place in all of this? The expectations of the refineries to begin operation, the availability of crude. I know there's also the conversation around modular refineries also around there. Where are you? Where is your association?
Yeah, so yes, we have been engaging extensively with all the major stakeholders. Suffice to say that it's not there. The Quran also has members that cuts across all the refineries in Nigeria. Dangote is also a member of Quran now. And then we've been engaging with all levels of government from NMDPRA, whom we have a stakeholders meeting with right now, to NUPRC, and then to even the host communities and all that. And truly, our engagements have been yielding very, very positive results in that government is beginning to become more responsive to what our needs are. And the aim of our association is to make Nigeria not just only self-sufficient in refined petroleum products, but also a net exporter of refined petroleum products, so that we can adequately even contribute to solving the challenges of effects that we have in Nigeria. Before now, anyway, during the regime of subsidy, Nigeria used to be a route for smuggling of refined products thanks to the subsidy regime. Now we want to flip that around and say, okay, those routes to use to smuggle our refined petroleum products when we're subsidizing, it could be a route for us to also begin to export refined petroleum products to bring in effects into the country.
All right, thank you so much. Certainly look forward to those days when we would contribute FX to this, the FX liquidity in the country from the exports of refined products. The Publicity Secretary of Crude Oil Refiners Association of Nigeria, Mr. Eche Idoko. Thank you for your time. I wish you the best in your deliberations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.